And the fifth lesson. Oh my goodness. First of all, I really want to thank you very much for your interest, for your nice comments. They are extremely motivating for me. I really feel very happy as I read what you wrote. Let's continue from where we left off. Let's get right to it. Last time we wrote a beat here. Let's listen. Goodness. This might be the most boring beat I've heard in a long time. You probably think the same thing when you hear it. All right, okay. Now I'm also noticing something. If you've been paying attention, I'm not trying to show anything within a certain style or genre. So I don't have something like how to produce trap or how to produce deep house. How is music production done? I'm trying to showcase. Let's do a little more then. Let's get into the moves for making a song. Let's make this beat 1140 once. After that, nice. The weight of the work is starting to kick in. Feel. What we call to the floor means to do it for each beat once. This is done in a certain way. Nice. Let me show you this right here. What is the purpose of the grid concept? In normal notations, there are values within themselves. 16 whole signs, 8 whole signs, 4 whole signs, and that's it. Just like those musical notes. Grids allow us to use these and write them in a way that is completely in sync with the tempo. Nice. We can think of it as doing something more trap style. By the way, that's been 4 lessons. I forgot to tell you something very important. That just came to my mind. I didn't really try to show you how to save what you're working on as a project. So you do this with Ctrl+S or Command+S on Apple. The thing you need to pay attention to here is this. When saving a project, it's very important to be organized. So my advice to you is, for example, let me open it again with Command-O or Apple-O. I've saved this with the Ableton Live lesson. But I created this myself, like I have a folder called Live Projects. I've placed this in a specific location on my computer. Then I can sort these alphabetically here. Keep your projects in one place. Because being organized? All right, I'm showing music production here, and so on and off. But being professional, producing music professionally, that's a whole different thing. Let me put it this way. Mindset. One of the very important parts for you is to do everything in an organized manner for a while, because things will really start to get messy. Like, where did I put what? And so you have your channels that you use, and you'll end up not being able to find them because you kept them in downloads and then deleted them, but you had used them in the project. It's an important part to prevent the chaos right from the very beginning. So I want to show you that it's not just about saving, but you need to be organized here. This is an incredibly important part. And one of the most important things you need to gradually make a habit of regarding this. Let's say we're currently working on this drum channel. When you right-click here, you can rename it. Don't do anything by right-clicking. Use shortcuts for everything. It's already in the name. It's a shortcut and it will speed you up a lot in your workflow. What is it then? For example, it's Command-R. On Windows, it will be Ctrl+V2. Let's say drums here. Or something. It doesn't matter if it's double. Give a name. Here, for example, I've recorded my voice and I've written my name there. Now let's do a little trick here. Let's also talk about the velocity issue because a friend of ours asked about it the other day. Here, when we write the value for each note, When we write the value on the note, there are small red lines at the bottom. These are called velocity, that is, Turkish reciprocal touch. It's a term used to show how fast we press a note. By default, Ableton sets this to 100, 0, 120, see here, and even here. It sets this to 100. So, when playing a pattern, it starts to get really boring to listen to because it keeps hitting the same keys throughout the song. By making small changes to these classic elastics, we are humanizing it in quotation marks. So it sounds like a person actually played it. And especially lately, styles like lo-fi hip-hop, and chill-hop have started to become really popular, where the humanize effect has reached its peak, making it sound almost like it was played incorrectly or incompletely, creating a certain sound. And that's why it's becoming so popular. It's a strange psychology, by the way. It's in a state where the sound has been achieved, and that's why it's becoming so popular. It's a strange psychology, by the way. A person first tries to perfect everything. You quantize everything just like you did here. Then they get bored of it and try to humanize it again. That's a different situation. What am I doing quickly right now? Here are the things one by one. Instead of marking the verses like this to select them, what I'm doing is very simple. I'm clicking on the note here. He just selected all of them. You'll probably do this with the Alt key on Windows. Hold down the Alt key, or if you're on a Mac, hold down the Option key. You drag while holding it down. He took out one more of each of these. Copy. We didn't bother writing them out one by one. Now he just made them maroon here. He's selecting the marked ones. I wanted to bring it down a little bit, but I couldn't. Let's not bring it so that it doesn't get erased. I left some light shapes. It is checked. Like this. I lowered the keys a little more. Our first formations are from 0 to 100%. Meanwhile, these here are lower. And I see in the bottom left at the top says 78. Let's say. I'm thinking a bit more. Subscribe. And extremely simple. We've made a change, but at this moment, for example, it starts to evoke something in a person's mind. So, from this moment on, ideas for building your piece on this should be starting to circulate in your mind. The process is already moving forward, completely like this. Now let's wrap this up with this and the lotion. Nice. At the end of the day, especially when it comes to when you're making music with a computer, or whether it's about writing a beat, what you have in hand is already a loop. A loop is a bar, meaning a measure, a pattern, or a four-measure pattern. You build the whole piece on this. Music made with a computer, especially electronic music, is inherently repetitive, meaning it consists of loops that keep repeating. That way, it ensures memorability and makes it more listenable in music production. When we create a beat here, we're already working with a specific loop, a pattern, and right now, we're in the process of writing a beat. But this already started to evoke the first ideas in our minds about where we want to go. This is one of the elements that drives us to bring our piece to life. You already know our pattern for these drum sounds from the previous lessons. We were using 808, for example. I was turning it into 909. Where was I? Rub it here. Get down from one. Over here, the thing we see as 0 is the volume of the track. We can adjust this up and down. We'll use this while mixing, and right above that, there's something that shows the peak. When these turn yellow, just know that it's hitting the peak now. So it's starting to distort. Try to avoid these. Look at those rims. Kick. It's doing it, saying, let's do a little mix on that right away. Here, everyone has their own separate volumes. This is, for example, X6, X9. Yeah, something like that. Nice. Now it doesn't clip anymore. Right now, for example, what I'm showing you without making it obvious is the gain stage, which is a step before mixing. There are a lot of instruments and so on piled up here. And when you keep all of them at 0 dB, you'll see that this area will start turning bright red like a bear. And that means your track is distorting. We'll always try to stay away from this. Gain staging and mixing? Even though we're still at some earlier stages, since we're already putting some basic things in their place, I'm starting to show you some advanced stuff little by little. As you can see, we prevented that clipping issue by lowering it by 3 dB. This is our finish. Let's think of it as OK. Here it shows as search command F. Again, it will be Ctrl.F on Windows. When you click here and actually hit F, what I need now is a stop.